Hello, this is Sebastian Griffin. Today, I would like to talk a little bit about communism and how it impact our life and also particularly my life. I've been surrounded in fact, I've been surrounding by communists. Surrounding by communists means they are actually surrounding me uh, in all corners of life, and I believe my father's side of the family are very active communist members. Now the problem is that I really do not care what kind of political system they believe in because it is their freedom. But that should not deprive my belief. I do not believe in communists. I know that I do not have any problem with others who believe communists as long as it does not affect me. Now the problem here is the first, I was being told not to progress so fast. This year I'm already 42 years old. Within this 42 years old, within my whole life, they have never contributed anything in my life. Right until now, I do not know who is my father. I never met him. Even I met him on the street, I believe I do not recognize him. I do not know who is he. So this is how pathetic it is. They are so secretive. It seems like they have some sort of covert operations going on. And definitely, I'm not interested to infiltrate the US. Definitely will not fight for their cause or whatever it is within their operations. Now, I have done nothing really bizarre. Actually, what I wrote is about democracy, about human rights. That is within Malaysia, and of course, I do advocate some of the issues in others country about human rights. Uh, I the thing here is that my inheritance left by my mother's side of the family has not been given to me. I believe somebody probably due to it is not inheritance rivalry anymore because they are depriving me from accessing into my inheritance. And my grandfather from my mother's side already passed away more than 17 years. And my grandmother from my mother's side, my grandmother already passed away around 7 years. So the inheritance has been, I believe my inheritance that my grandparents, my grandfather and grandmother left for me has been looted by my relative, my uncles or uncles, auntie, and those that involved. So and yet they are asking me not to progress fast. I do not know what does that means by not to progress fast. But what I can see from the operations, their company operations now, it is very puzzling for me that they hire quite a number of archeries. Archeries means those that do calculations, and these archeries do not even able to do primary school calculations. That is how pathetic, how crazy it is. I really do not know why the company hire them as archeries if they cannot perform primary school calculations, mathematics. Now I did not do the test, the quiz. Actually, I made the quiz. I did not make the quiz for them. I made the quiz specifically for my own children, my own son. As a tuition, as a father, I provide tuitions to him. Supposedly for tuitions, for tuition purposes, for a quiz for my son, not for the archeries. But somehow, my son's mother, Carol Top, forwarded the link because it's in the online. Forwarded the website to the company archeries, and the archeries cannot do the work, cannot do the calculation. Never mind. They call me up, they scold me and threaten to beat me up. So this is how insane it is. It is them who owe me money. It is them who owe me money, and I am the shareholders. I'm the boss. I'm their boss. And supposedly the company hire them to do their job, to do jobs. If they do not know how to do calculations, simple calculation, by right, I have the right to fire them. Because shareholders have the right to fire management staff, and I believe archeries is quite high level in the management level. So I really do not know. Do they know who is their boss first? And do they know how to perform their job? Are they competent? I do not. Literally, they do not able to perform their job, and they do not know their roles. So, and the very fundamental thing is that my dividend every year they should pay to me either monthly basis, quarterly or biannually basis, which they did not perform the duties. So, of course, I know in Malaysia, there are so many looting, so many cheatings. What more? If I do not know my identity, definitely people will cheat my money. And not only that, even before even before that, I have to say I found there are some, actually not some, but quite number of malpractices and literally looting, literally bank robbery happened, but that is in Hong Kong, that conducted by the company. So I have to state this very clear that I do not know my family. I do not know my mother, Esther Lim, prior to the incidents. So prior to the looting, or I will call it the Italian job in Hong Kong, which is I do not know what you call a financial scam or what. I am not, even until now, I am not involved in the company. And this is the staff integrity and also the staff knowledge in their job is a huge question. Never mind. They're asking me to slow down. What to slow down? I have nothing. I'm not doing any job. I have literally no income. In fact, throughout my life since I small, I work. I work for my life. I work for my living. Alright, right until university I struggling, and also after I studied, I came out to work. I get my own money. I earn my own living. They try to deprive my jobs. They try to deprive my income. I work for people. They went to sabotage, and I open my own company. They also disturb. So how are they going to expect me to live a normal life? I'm now 42 years old. They are billionaire. Despite that, they have never contributed anything in my life. Not given any single cent in my life. I do not know what kind of insanity is going on, but my cousin seems getting a good life. Now, why I connect this to communism? Because in the communist society, everybody is expected. Now, communist is actually an economy system. It's not really a political system, but it's an economy system that affect a political system. Now, in a communist society, the ruler, the one who rule, will decide what kind of business or what kind of manufacturing, what kind of products they're going to manufacture. People are being detected. They do not have the freedom to do whatever they like. They do not have the freedom to conduct their job, to enter into the profession they like or they desire. Do not have the freedom to open their own business. They have to produce, or they have to play a role dictated by the leader, and the leader is not chosen by them. So that is the kind of problem, the scenario that I'm in. The company top management is not chosen by me, despite I have shares in the company. Now, even I want to live my life, I do not have the freedom to do my job that I want. They are quite rigid in a way that they detect everything in my life. They're even choosing girls, to mate with me, which I do not know. I have totally no idea. Even until now, I only know probably I have 4 sons and 1 daughter. The daughter, Tei Yu Tong, I have absolutely no idea who is her mother. Totally no idea, but most probably connected to the communists from the China side. Whether related to China government or not, I do not know. And then there are Carrot Talk's sons. I do not know how Carrot Talk got my sons. Honestly, I know Carrot Talk from Facebook. That Carrot Talk is an exception where she might not be arranged for me. I know her from Facebook, but that's the only thing I know. Never dating, never courtship. And then there are another two. One is related to Teh Ka Seng. Teh Ka Seng pretend to be my father, but he's not my biological father. And I do not know what kind of system they work. It seems like they were trying to conjure up, they were trying to make up a family, a fake family where none of the family members are related to each other. For example, all my cousins are not related to me. Since I grow up, I know a lot of cousins. None of them are related to me biologically. Okay, their intention probably is to let us mingle when we are small as a cousin, and then when we grow up, we're supposed to marry the cousin, which not in my case because I do not prefer any of them. And that is why for Teh Ka Seng case, Teh Ka Seng pretend to be my father. He's not my real father. And his daughter, which I have no idea because I never grown up with her before. And in fact, Teh Ka Seng, I seldom see him. I seldom see this person. He just appear and disappear on and off. So his daughter probably got one of my son. I call him little ancestor. I do not know his real name. I do not know his mother real name. I only know he is closely related to Teh Ka Seng, probably Teh Ka Seng's daughter. So that is how insane it is. I do not know what sort of arrangement. And none of none of the Teh Ka Seng siblings are actually connected. None of them are biologically connected. So these are the whole thing, the whole family is a scam. Okay, and yet they are telling me not to progress so fast. I do not know what does it mean. Now I've been advocate a lot about NEP issues, about the issues in Malaysia. There were corruptions. There's human rights issues. There is sovereignty issues. There are population. They call it these social engineering issues. There are so many issues plugging Malaysia, but I do not think it is wrong to review all these problems together. Because if it is not me, then who? For more than 50 years, how many people actually have done that? Not so many people. So, in fact, most of the things that I talk about, most of the things that I share are actually from my own. I collect everything, I compile everything, I synthesize it, and then I come up with the summary and I come up with the conclusions. So I do not really depend on the other external sources for my what the causes that I fight. Most of it actually came out from historical data, from the news. Then from there, I compile it, I synthesize it, and then I review it. So that is me. If anyone say, oh, it is too fast or whatever, too fast for you does not mean too fast for others. If you cannot cope, then you stay there. Nobody is asking you or anybody asking everybody to progress. Now this is also another problem with the communists, is that communism believe everybody is same. Now in the reality, nobody is same. Everybody is unique. Everybody, the level of how they absorb information, how they progress, how they digest, how they can perform the input and output, the productivity. Everybody is different. That's why democracy is important. Communists, all these communist cousin and communist are relative or they are comrade. What they believe in is that I need to be in tandem with them. My productivity level, my knowledge need to be in tandem with them. I cannot grow so fast because they cannot cope. So that they are actually pulling me down so that I am not progressing so fast. So that is how insane it is. That's why freedom is important. In a democracy country, everybody is giving freedom. If you can progress, then you go ahead, no problem. Likewise for me, if somebody is very smart, they can progress. I hope they can progress and bring good news, bring better future for us that we cannot progress. So for example, I'm not very good. I have no idea about electronics, say for example, I hope those that are very good in electronics invent something, discover something so that it make my life better in future, it make my life, my children's life better in future, and every day there is progress. So that is what we want. I am not definitely will not say, or I will pull you down so that your understanding and my understanding is same. So I also urge those that cannot understand, cannot cope with me, to stay there. Do not disturb people. If you cannot cope, just shut your fucking mouth and just you take your time to digest. Nobody is asking you to go along. So my advice to them is like that. And those who can digest and can help, please come out and help and do something about it. And I'm not saying that I'm the one, that I'm the only one that can contribute. In fact, I hope everybody can contribute their bit. I do not mind to share what I found, especially this is a public matters. This is not a private, this is not a business matter. If what I have in mind is a private business information or private business plan or ideas, then it is solely mine. I will not reveal to anybody because that will affect my profit if I do business. But what I'm advocating, if it is for public, for the general public, I have no problem to share with general public because it affects everybody and I actually do not get anything in return, to be honest. In fact, I spent a fortune, I spent everything to fight and I got nothing. And I do not have any restrictions for anybody. Anybody who can help on a matter, who can digest better, who can come up with even more things to add it in this endeavor, in this cause, please do so. I'm not stopping anyone. So there is a difference between me and those communists. Those communists, if they cannot digest, their level is like that. They're asking everybody to stop and to stay to the same level, which is wrong. If somebody can progress further, then progress further. If I'm like that level, they are like that, then they should stay put where they are if they cannot go further. And I hope if they can go further, of course, they take the time. If they cannot, they are not as spongy to absorb. And if somebody can excel better than me, please do so. And honestly, I have really not so keen to talk about NEP in Malaysia. Those Malaysia issues I have raised up, it is pretty much there. There are so many issues, so many big issues that Malaysia cannot resolve. Fundamental issues that have been plaguing Malaysia for more than 50 years. I'm talking about half a century. All these people are stuck here and do little about it. And of course, most people are afraid, including myself, because there are consequences. There are consequences. I've been attacked by Malay. I've been attacked by certain group with interest. And even those communists came and attacked me. I'm not talking about the communists from China, but the communists actually are here. The existing communists from Malaysia, from Malaya, they are attacking me. So I do not know what is the reason. I suspect what I advocate actually affect them to recruit communists or to fight their cause, to convert Malaysia into a communist country. Because if there is a racial harmony, if there is no problem between race, there is no fundamental problem for the progress of economy, then communists or other external forces will find it hard to infiltrate into this land, especially communists. Because what I'm advocating is actually democracy. I'm actually introducing democracy into Malaysia. And introducing democracy into Malaysia will somehow affect the communists to instill the communism idea. It is just exactly what I'm experienced. I'm now actually suspecting even my mother's side of the family, they are communists. OCBC, definitely the founders, they are communists. Tan Kah Kee is a communist, is a confirmed communist party, a CCP, China Communist Party. So that is Tan Kah Kee, and he was probably MCP, Malayan Communist Party, some of the most prominent leaders in the communist world. And OCBC, Overseas Chinese Corporations Bank, they're present in everywhere worldwide, including United States of America, including United Kingdom, including Australia, including Japan. Of course, they have a lot of business in China. They are based in Singapore. They are also have a very substantial presence in Malaysia. So in Singapore and Malaysia, we can see OCBC operating in a very big way. And in Hong Kong, in China, they also have a lot of banks connected to OCBC, but they call different name. They have even have university, Xiamen University, actually also founded by Tan Kah Kee. They have so many factories. In fact, if you go to Sentosa in Singapore, just beside Sentosa there is an island called Brani Island. That Brani Island actually belong to Tan Kah Kee. He used it to manufacture pineapple, to cane pineapples. So that island and probably huge portion of Sentosa Island also belong to them. And we all know the north of Sentosa Island is now Resort World Genting used to operate the casino as well as theme park and all that. So I really do not know what the world is going on. It seems like the world is getting less and less sensitive about the communists and how they influence life. Myself, probably my father's side, definitely they are communists, but how it affect my life is very severe, in a very severe way. And I do not see there's any wisdom, any positive element, any positive outcome about the communists. They are depriving my freedom for mating, for marriage. That is the deprivations of my human right under United Nations Universal Human Rights Declarations, Article 16, I think, Article 16 Clause 2. And also constitution right, my constitution, whether it's Malaysia, Singapore, or UK or US, they are depriving my right. Because a marriage is supposed to be mutually agreed. I do not even know the girl. So how can we know the natural progress of marriage is after marriage you will have baby together. But not even marriage is consent. How am I don't even know the girls, how to have babies with them. This is literally a robbery, literally causing me mental problem, causing me suffer mental problem, also suffering in terms of my human right. And then also depriving my educations, depriving my movement, and also depriving now even depriving me together with my parents. Only until recently I know who is my mother, which is Esther Lim. So this is how crazy, how pathetic it is. So I really hope the American side, the US can understand my situations. And I also know there are huge present. My father's side of the family have a huge presence in the US, especially the state of California. So my message to them, to the America, is that it's not that I anti-America or what. In fact, I'm okay with America. I like America. I like the country constitutions. I never been to America in my life before, but I know if I'm in America, if I live in America, it's gonna be trouble for me. Because either I join the communists or I fight them. I do not want to join the communists and I do not want to fight them. It is not my interest to fight the communists, as well as it is not my interest to join the America to fight the communists. Now, if you read the history of Tan Kah Kee, you will know Tan Kah Kee is actually one of the prominent figure in anti-America movement in China, in this region, in the Asia region. They are anti-America, means they are fight American, whether in Viet Cong, during the Viet Cong period, or the China, whether it's in China or in Vietnam. So none of them are actually good for me. None of them is actually a good news for me. But I have also declared here that I have no problem with the Vietnam government or the Vietnam socialist political parties or political system, as well as I have no problem with the China communist. It's actually less communism right now, but China is still a communist country. I have no problem with them as long as they do not come and disturb me. They do not cause any problem to me. I will definitely have no problem with them. So I hope they can understand my message, and please go and read what is communism. Why I so dislike communists. I am not uh, personally hates anybody. I'm not personally hate anybody except for my grandfather, which he actually killed me before. So my grandfather, that I have personal grievances. I have hatred towards my grandfather. Other than that, and those girls that raped me, of course I want to hold them responsible for their actions. And I also need to interrogate. That means need to find out, need to investigate and prosecute them accordingly. I know very well these people, including Teh Seng, they are immune to law. I saw them literally manslaughter in a broad daylight in Singapore, and yet they are still roaming free on the street without any consequences. Despite back then, I saw police actually caught him. So we can know how insane it is. That was in Singapore, and I was also being attacked in Singapore many times. That is not related to NEP. That is not related to the causes that I fight, and I have no political interest in Singapore. Honestly, I never talk about politics in Singapore. So what is the reason for them to attack me is a huge question. So that is in Singapore. But of course I being attacked more in Malaysia because I'm fighting against NEP, I'm fighting for human right, I'm fighting for democracy. So that is why I'm being attacked in Malaysia many times. And I also urge the government, especially democratic government like Australia, UK, and US, please provide easier access for political asylum or asylum seeker, political refugee to seek protections from the embassy. Because if you do not provide the facilities or you do not provide an avenue for political refugee or political asylum seeker, it is very difficult. It is very difficult. It is very hard for anybody to be a active political advocate or something like that. It is very hard, and I feel the urge. I feel the responsible. I feel to have the responsibility to advocate, because when I look at my surrounding Malaysians, most Malaysians are oblivious about the situations. Most Malaysian, they do not know what the situation they are in right now. Are very oblivious, and they are very gullible. So whatever I advocated, I normally put up a link. I normally put up evidence or furnish whatever proof in order to substantiate my claim. I say something, I substantiate it with proof. I say something, there's always proof, and always link toward the proof, the sources that I got from. So that is me. Because I do not want people to be gullible, do not want people to believe me blindly and believe anybody blindly. And that's why I provide them proof. And I hope they can provide proof to whatever they say and think rationally, think logically. So this is my message. And I really do not want to talk about Malaysia anymore, because I'm not interested to be a Malaysian. And I do not, if my future is not in Malaysia, that is pointless for me to keep on talking about Malaysia. And what I'm talking actually is repetitive. It's just repeating the same content over and over again. And I hope somebody take some actions, and that somebody probably not from Malaysia, because I do not think Malaysia have the capability to think, have the ability to think and capability to take actions that is really have significant impact, that significantly change the political landscape and the fate of Malaysian people. I do not think Malaysian alone can change that. I I think somehow political this issue, all these human rights issues and the political system issues need international community intervention in a good way, in a positive way. In a positive way means they come here and they coach, they provide advice, or they somehow do something. Whatever they do, I do not know, but whatever the international community think fit, in order for Malaysia to restore or to actually introduce democracy, the real democracy in the country, and hope everybody or the next generation can enjoy the fruit of what we do, what we are doing right now. So I'm not interested to live in Malaysia, and my children will not benefit from whatever I do. But those Malaysians who intend to live in Malaysia, continuingly live in Malaysia, and have children, have some even have grandchildren or great grandchildren, they have to do something that is benefiting themselves, that benefiting the family and the next generations. So what they're doing right now, please think in future, the future generation will think of them, will appreciate of what they do right now, and definitely has got nothing to do with me. I do not think my children will live here. I'm actually trying to bring all my children out of Malaysia to a better country, to a country that allow people to think, allow people to have freedom. Countries such as UK, Australia, New Zealand, those democratic countries. So this is what I have to say, and I hope whether my mother's side of the family or my father's side of the family, please do not restrict people to progress. If someone can progress, please appreciate, and also please recognize that everyone in the world are different. Everyone is unique. If they can progress, let them progress. If they cannot progress, then find something for them to progress. Normally, every parent only worry people are dumb, stupid, or some or incapable in some way. They are worried. Nobody is worried their children can progress. So please let people progress. Not only for me, but for everybody. If they can thrive, if they can think independently, they can do something, they can have some breakthrough in some aspect or some field, please let them go ahead, encourage them, support them in whichever way. Whether they are good in science, mathematics, those conventionally those Chinese think, oh, the children have to be involved in science and technology. But if your children are good in maths or are good in athletic or gymnastic or whatever, please also encourage them. Please also encourage them to do whatever they like and whatever they're good at. Please do not stop them, and please do not drag them down so that they can equal to others person. Nobody is the same. If you or somebody are not performing as well, then you question yourself and try to find way to improve yourself. Please do not drag others down along with you. That is my message. Like Singapore and Malaysia, Singapore progress well above, well further ahead than Malaysia, and I am not stopping Singapore from progressing, and I hope Singapore can continue progressing ahead. If they have the means to do so, if they can do so, they have room for further improvement and progress, please do so. Nobody should stop anybody or any country from progressing ahead in a positive manner. Of course, I'm not asking the terrorists to progress. Terrorists, those things, those activities that is cause harm to society or people, then they should stop. But those that contribute to humanity, contribute to art and science, please go ahead. So this is my message to those communist friend or relative. Now I do not have any friend here, and I hope whether it's US, UK, or Australia, or anyone for the matter, if you can help me, please help me out of Malaysia. Now, as for you, America, and for US, I might not invest in US immediately, but if the American government, if the US government came, or they come to help me out of Malaysia and provide me whatever necessary for me to settle down, I promised them once I got my inheritance, my money from my left for me from my grandparents, I will invest in the US in order to contribute, in order to pay back the favor rendered to me. Definitely, I will invest in the US in the proper way, the genuine way to help US economy. That is what I can help. That's what I can say. But for me to settle down in US, I might not settle down immediately, and my preference is actually more in Australia, in UK. Actually, UK more lah. Actually, because I think UK is more suitable for me. And of course, Australia. I love Australia. The Australian people, the Australian food, Australian climate, the landscape, everything. Australia is just perfect for me. I can say Australia is just perfect, just a nice country. They have temperate climate, they have desert, they have tropical, they have everything that I want. It's just like a small world within our planet. And I can find everything in that continent, that small continent or that island or that country called Australia. So that is what I can say. But of course, economically, to do business in UK is more profit in a way that a small island contain more than 65 million population. That means there is huge demand for product services. And also, if you to include the entire Europe, there are 500 million populations. I'm not talking about poor country. The whole Europe are very quality populations that have very high GDP per capita, a very good customer, very good client, what I call it, a client population. I would say that a very good possibility for me. I would say very good exposure for me, for my business. So that is the reason I consider UK. But for Australia, of course, Australia might not have as huge population. I think about 30 over million populations. But Australia is a huge country. There is a huge potential for agriculture businesses. Definitely, I'm interested to explore. I'm agriculture person, so I'm a farm person. So definitely, Australia is inevitable. I definitely go to Australia for investment. So that is for sure. So my priority right now is to exit Malaysia, get back my inheritance, and then I will do business, and I will have my life back. And I'm not only fighting for myself, because myself I'm being raped by both men and women. Woman also impregnated and got my children. I do not know who's the woman. I'm suffering mentally and also financially. That is my personal suffering in terms of my personal human right issues. And at the same time, I'm also fighting for Malaysia, the minority, especially primarily the Chinese, the Indian, and of course the Orang Asal, the aborigine of the country. So whether it's personally or nationally, I'm considered a political refugee. I'm considered a political asylum seeker. That I seek a way out of Malaysia in order to have a decent life. I call it a life that my basic human right, my fundamental human right is assured. So that is what I have to say.